Hey everyone, welcome back. In today's video, I want to break down the indicators that I'm using, just a couple of the indicators at least, and the settings that I'm using. That way you can get your charts to look similar to mine in the pre-market session or the regular market session if you want to get the same effect here. So GPUS, we're going to use this one as an example. This one is currently gapping up over 100% from open. You can see on the gap scanner here, GPUS, a very low float here, 1.3 million share float, and up 130% on the day. So that's pretty incredible, and that's just from open, so just from this area here. So this one is gapping up. It's low float. Great. We love it. But how do we trade it? So our indicators are going to aid in entry and exit. I mention that every day. So scanners, that's going to identify where is the value in the market. And our scanners will let us know, hey, GPUS is something that maybe you want to check this out. If you scroll on down to the bottom, GPUS around $4, hit a high of $8.48. So it's definitely something we want to be aware of. The scanner is going to identify where's the value in the market. From there, we pull up the chart, and our indicators will aid in entry and exit. And when I'm saying that, what I'm saying is that all of our strategies are built with risk mitigation in mind. So if you go up here to the indicators and metrics and strategies at the top, click that and go to invite only. And if you go to the 1 minute Bullish Pivot Pro, we're going to go ahead and add this to our chart. Just click there. And you can see that it then adds it to our chart. Just let it load up in a second. Now, this indicator is very specific. This is going to look for multiple strategies and trend strategies built into one indicator. So it's got a lot going on, and I'll break down what's happening. But we do have videos on this previously as well. And we do have live sessions that we have with our team in our Discord as well. We just had one this past weekend. But GPUS, 1 minute Bullish Pivot Pro, if I scroll in on the start of the day, so this gray area over on the left is going to be the pre-market. This is going to be the open bell right here, so around 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, and then we're going to then shoot up from there. So this is the regular market session. So pre-market, regular market. Now, first thing I want to look at is the colors and everything that's going on here. Just zoom in. We'll take a look at everything that's happening. So we've got the pivot zones, right, being plotted. We have green pivot zones and red pivot zones. The reason a pivot zone would be green is because the price had closed over it. So if ever the price had closed over, it then goes green and shows you that that pivot zone is then supposed to hold as support. If it can't hold as support, it then holds as resistance. Because this is our most recent pivot zone, and at the top of this move, this is red, so that's going to be our resistance pivot zone. So very clear, green is a support area, red is going to be a resistance area. But of course, we're looking at the most recent zone to hold the most weight there. The BVT alerts here, these purple alerts that you see here, if I zoom in a little bit, maybe it makes it a little easier to see. BVT alerts, this is going to be a bullish vertical trend. That's a red flag to our strategy. So a strategy that's built into this indicator is going to look for a BVT, and that's going to be multiple green bars in a row, consecutive green bars. Basically, it's just extended. What it's saying is it's exhausted, right? And it may want to take some profit if you're in the position. And if you're not in the position, maybe it's something you want to adjust your size and stop level due to the risk associated with this type of setup. Now, just to be clear, just because there's a BVT doesn't mean it's going to pull back. It just typically means I'm trading a little bit differently. So I just want to be aware of the conditions ahead of time. That way I know, okay, I'm going to lock in some profit if I'm in on this candle. As it's going up here, I'm starting to lock in profit. And all of a sudden when we see this pivot zone, I'm out. So when we see these red candles or pullbacks here, that's out. So one thing that I'm noticing here is that the candles are not automatically changing color. You can see that they change color once in a while if I hover over something. Or if I click on the indicator, you'll see they'll change color. I want that to be all the time. So the reason that's not happening is a layerment issue. So go to the top here, visual order, and just click those three dots. Visual order, bring to front. If you go ahead and do that, now you can click on the chart, you scroll around, and you can see the candles now stay those colors. The reason I like this is because this is a specific strategy built into this indicator that's going to aid me in entry and exit and let me know that the green candles, very plain and simple, are the bullish area. That's where I'm looking to trade long. Red candles, that's where I can trade short if I'm looking for short entries. So for me, being a bullish trader, typically I'm looking for these green candles. So this marking right here, this is going to be our bullish signal detected. A BVT, okay, wait for a pullback into our zone. You can see this zone down here, this trend zone, that's going to be blue. We'll go over that in a minute. That is going to be something else. But as we pull back here, these green candles are letting us know this is a bullish type of strategy. This is bullish momentum, and this is where I want to trade long. So getting into a position after this type of signal, all of a sudden you can see this nice move. If we measure this out, this type of move is a 34% move in a matter of minutes. This is a 1 minute chart. So really fast type of moves here. But again, risk mitigation is number one. That's built into our strategy. So what's happening here is when we close above our pivot zone, you're going to see these green candles. If we then close back below that pivot zone, this pivot zone here, you're going to see that red candle here. So this is going to be a bullish breakout here. It did not hold. This is a fail of that breakout. Here's another bullish breakout. Okay, we can get back in. So this would be stopping out of my position unless I'm using this trend zone as my stop level, which we'll go over in just a minute. So the strategy is basically using the green candles for long positions and red candles for short positions. Plain and simple, very simple and easy to follow. So at the beginning of this move, the first candle that popped up right here, this would be an entry or could be an entry, and then all of a sudden it continues to gap up here, you're taking profit. This is, of course, a very quick move. So if you're able to get in, it's 70% in less than just a few minutes. At this point, we're looking for a green candle breakout. There it is. Here's your candle entry. Here's a nice breakout. Again, nice move here for anyone who got filled. 10% in less than a minute. So it's not a bad idea to lock in some of that profit. Hold yourself a lot in case you feel there's continuation. But if we see a break of the trend like we do here, this is going to be a second bearish type of signal. So the fact that we have these red candles here, this is bearish momentum. So even though we're gapping up here, this is not the strategy that I'm looking to trade. I want to see green candles in correlation with the blue trend line here. And if I change this, or excuse me, trend zone, I can change the trend zone to a, say, green to make it a little bit easier to follow. So I'll go ahead and change this to green just like this. And you can see, so green, good, red, bad, right? So just to keep it simple, and that's the way I like it, guys. Keep it simple, KISS, the keep it simple, stupid method. That's what works for me. But pops up, right? Pull back, okay. If I'm in the position, I've already taken profit. This is a nice move. I can hold a position until it breaks. This is where it breaks here, so I'm out of the position. It's downtrending. At this point, I'm looking for it to have green candles and be above with the green zone. So even though we crossed right here, we had a little zone right here. We do have a zone with a pivot zone. This is a little pivot zone pop, a little move, did not hold. It broke back down. This is a bearish move here, so we don't want to be in that. Okay, now we have these pivot watch labels here. We have a break of structure signal here. We then gapped up. We have a pivot zone to then, again, risk mitigation is built into this. So the point of the pivot zone is this. If I'm getting into this pivot zone, then I have a clear indication of where I want to get in and where I want to get out. So what I'm saying there is a contingent plan. So if it pulls back against me, because these are low float stocks, they're very whippy and choppy at times. If it pulls back against me, I have a stop loss level right in here. So if I go ahead and let's see, draw this out. So just like this, you'll see this is going to be a stop loss area. So that's going to be my stop loss area. So if I'm getting in at this pivot zone, I'm clear on where my stop loss is. There's no guesswork there. So that I like that about the strategy. That's what I love about the strategy. Very simple. So if I'm getting in these pivot zone, this is a pivot watch signal, break of structure. So it's letting you know, start watching, break of structure needs to hold this pivot watch signal 2.9. So it's $2.90. That would be where I'm putting my stop just below. It then got a signal here, a long trend signal. All of a sudden, the trend and the strategy were working together. So green zone, and we're having we have above this pivot zone here. It is not green candles. The reason it's not green candles is because this is a dip break of structure pivot zone. So this is a little bit different than this pivot zone over here. And the reason for it is this is the top of the move pivot zone. That's the strategy. We're looking for it to break out over the top of the move. So this was the top. All of a sudden, this was the top. So all of a sudden, we broke out, did not hold, formed a new top right here. Broke out, did not hold, broke out right there, and that's where we held. So even though these little pullbacks are frustrating and sometimes can be annoying, it's okay because it depends on your strategy. So if you're in for a trend type of trade, maybe you're holding your stop below this trend zone. If you're in for a scalping type of trade, so yes, it can be frustrating, but that's okay. These small losses will be washed out with this large win, right? So that's how I trade. So that's what I look for. So a large win, if I'm in this position, I'm looking for it to get in, scale into profit, hold a lot of for continuation. Then you do get this continuation. This type of move is what we're love to see. And GPUS is pulling back over here. This is where we'd be exiting out of the position. So all out, waiting for it to get above the pivot zone, green candles plus above the green there, and then pulled back again. This is a fail. So at this point, guys, I know it seems like a lot, but it's really not. Once you get used to it, what's happening is it's really easy or I guess I don't want to say easy, but it's really easy to follow, I guess, or a simple type of steps to follow here to know what to do. So if it's green candles and green above, I can take it long. Where would my stop be? Well, it depends. If I'm getting in and using the pivot zone to get in, then I can put my stop below that. Or if I'm looking to hold for a little bit longer and have more of a trend type of trade, I can put my stop below our bands down here. And as long as it stays green, I'm good to go. This would be an exit. This would be an entry. Okay, I'm staying in, staying in, staying in. You can see this turns out to be a massive move. So if we measure this again from this band change here all the way to the band change here, this is a, let's see, about 54%. This is a 1 minute chart, guys. This is 54% type of returns in less than a day's time of trading, right? In less than really just a few minutes there. It's not that long of time at all. This is 59 bars, so less than an hour worth of time, we're getting a 50% win. That's huge, right? And of course, we're taking profits, so we're not taking the full trade. Some traders will. For me, I like to scale in, take profit, scalp the move, hold a lot for continuation. Other traders may want to hold the full move until it breaks. It's really up to you. Of course, that would be suffering some larger pullback swings, but you would have some major wins as well. But this is on GPUS. This is the 1 minute chart. Now, what I like to do, guys, is combine this one with the 10-second chart. So even though I use the 1 minute chart for my entry and trend, basically breakdown here, I also like to break down the 10-second chart. So I'll often have two charts up, similar to this right here. And I'll select one of these. Say the top one will make the 10-second chart. So I'll go ahead and click 10 seconds at the time frames at the top, and you can see this is changing. So now I have the 10-second chart up as well. So it's the same idea, just a lot faster type of version because it's 10 seconds, right? So these are minute candles, 10-second candles. So if I zoom out to where the this move happened at open, right? So if I zoom in here, and let's see, we want to see these type of moves. So at market open, right, to find the entry, market opens right here. This is that gray, right? So we're going to see this area as the market open, gray, black, market open right here. Okay, we've got a cross. Here's our long signal crossed above. So now we want to hold this. So we have a 1 minute trend is good, right? So if I zoom in on this chart, on the 10-second chart, what's happening, looking for the entry here, is this candle. You can see it covering over this. This candle right here was the first signal that gave us the bullish signal on the 1 minute chart. On the 10-second chart, if I mark that, let me see if it works. Let me see if I change the settings here. I can get this to work. Drawings, symbol, crosshair, maybe it's over here. Drawings will be syncing layout. Yes, there we go. All right, great. So now let me redraw that and see if that works. There we go. Okay. So now we see on the 1 minute chart, this is the candle that gave us the signal. On the 10-second chart, you can see it wasn't giving the signal quite yet. However, if we're getting into that position because of that 1 minute candle, we do know that once we see that, we have this area is going to be our stop area. So that's where I'm going to trail my stop. So as we glide up here, as this moves up, all of a sudden we have that signal right there, another buy. So I could either add to my position or start taking profit as we start to rip here. Now, it doesn't seem like a huge move. However, if we're getting on these candles, this is, again, 10%, 30 cents per share. It's a nice quick scalp. It's consistent. Take the profit, hold a lot for continuation. Pull back here. Okay, I can get out of my position. And this, it really depends, again, on you. So you can use the 1 minute chart if you want to stay in a little bit longer. Again, you will suffer larger pullbacks. However, you will have bigger wins as well. You'll stay on your position longer. Me, I like to scalp the 10-second chart, so I like to use the 1 minute for that trend, use it for the entry, and then use the 10-second to mitigate the risk on the downside. So this, I'd be stopping out. Green right here. Okay, I'm back in. Nice move. I'm getting myself profit. So I'm taking profit on each one of these moves. So if I'm getting in here, another 10%, locking in profit. Okay, pull back. I'm out of the position. Okay, all of a sudden I'm looking for the green, pulling back. Here's the green right here. I'm back in. So now we're looking for this trend. So as long as we stay bullish on the 1 minute chart, as you can see here, we're staying bullish on the 1 minute chart, then I'm trading it on the 10-second chart. As soon as we start to fail, and the reason I like that for the 10-second chart too, guys, is because it allows me to get closer to the top. So say like this, this candle right here pulled back sharply. So if I draw that right there, this candle pulled back sharply. So as it's pulling back, I'm getting out of my position closer to the top up here instead of pulling back on that candle right there. So instead of just pulling back on the BVT there, I'm getting out a little bit past that where I can wait till this pivot zone. So either one. So this is a exit signal. This is an exit signal. Okay. So all of a sudden we come back down, bearish trend, bullish. But now at this point, we're looking at this as possibly entries here, but this is chop, chop, chop. Really not much, really just flat entries, right? We're down. This is bearish, down. Okay, now at this point, if you can see down below, we have a signal that changed right here. However, if I put the line on it again, down below, look how it's bearish, right? So because it's a bearish trend on the 1 minute chart, I don't want to take this setup. So this setup's not for me. This is not my setup. That's a bounce setup. It's not really for me. So instead, I'm going to wait for this crossover over here. See this crossover here? So I'm going to draw that out. Alt V on there. And let me see where it is. Okay, that's over here. So now we are bullish on the 1 minute chart. So follow along with me, guys. I know it's a bit much, but it makes sense after a while. It just takes some time to get used to. Okay, 1 minute candle closed above. We're bullish. Okay, we're above. All right, great. All of a sudden down here, we can see that we do not have the setup just yet. We wait for it here. There's our setup. Okay, it's moving up. It failed. Okay, we're out. And all of a sudden we're waiting. There's it back up. Okay, we're back in, right? Boom, all of a sudden it explodes. And this move is huge, right? This is a massive move in a short period of time. So if we got in over here, 16%, right? Over 10% on that move, almost $1 per share. Okay, chop it up, back out, back in, right? So it requires you to be very active with your trading if you're trading the 10-second chart like I am. So maybe, again, it might not be something for you. I like it. The reason I like it is because I'm keeping that stop tight. So every time I see this, I know exactly where my stop loss is. So this line down here, as I'm gliding up, my stop loss is moving up with that price. So as it pulls back, boom, I'm stopped out. Okay, that's fine. I'm out. I don't worry about this. I don't stress unless I'm shorting. I don't care about this. This over here is a setup that I may possibly take. There's a fail. So even if you're getting in on this candle at the top of this move right there, you're getting out at 477. You're getting out around let's see, 472. It's a few cents loss compared to the major wins that I'm taking, right? And that's the point. So I want to mitigate that risk, mitigate those losses, stay in my trade as long as possible, but also mitigate the downside. So using the 1 minute chart, maybe I'm in the position all the way down here, and I'm like, you know what? It's just a lotto. I want to hold the position for as long as possible. I got in a nice entry this morning. I think it's going up. Great. Use the 1 minute trend here down below to stay in your trade. And if I expand this here, you'll see once it showed that bullish momentum, boom, massive win. This is the downtrend. Okay, we're back down. We're looking for it. Even though this is a trend, we want to see it green and green. Okay, there's green and green. Fail. Okay, out. Okay, if it's a loss, it's a loss. That's okay. Red losses are okay. Red days, they can happen. Want to keep them small. That way our runners can run and wash them right out. So guys, that is really the breakdown on the 1 minute Bullish Pivot Pro for GPUS today. The settings that I have in here, you're going to see 5 and 5 on my settings for the pivot period and sensitivity. And that's going to keep it a little bit less. If you want to see those a little bit easier, you can change the color here to, let's change it to yellow, so you guys can see where those pivots are. So this is going to be our break of structure. That's a special strategy that's built into this. We're going to look for those yellow alerts. There's one right there. So you can see, look at that yellow alert. So this is going to be where that one alert came in, that pivot we were talking about earlier. Pivot watch, yellow alert. That's our break of structure. So that is a specific strategy built into this. That is something different. Same thing, pivot zone to help mitigate risk. Get in, get out, hold yourself a lotto. Massive move. That's probably the best entry following the spike this morning. So that's going to be in the 5-5 settings right there. You can make that larger if you prefer. You can do that as well. You can go in here, whatever you prefer. I've got quick trend settings on. So I like the quick trend settings on the 1 minute chart. For the 10-second chart, I switch back and forth from quick trend and long trend. So you can change that to stay in your trades longer. But really, that's it, guys. GPUS, beautiful moves this morning. And this is just using one indicator. If I added more indicators, this video is running a little long, so I'll probably just tighten it up here. But if I added other indicators, you would see that our confirmation support and resistance would also show cluster of resistance areas on this chart, which would be high areas to take profit into because it's going to be expected choppy price action. That's what we saw today. So GPUS, this is one indicator. You can see the aiding us in entry and exit, but most importantly, risk mitigation. Low float stocks, that's what we should be focused on. Guys, thank you for watching. If you found any value in today's video, thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.
I appreciate you tuning in today. Every trader starts somewhere, and the fact that you're here means you're putting in the work. If you're ready to trade smarter and learn alongside real traders, head over to bullishboblive.com. We trade live every weekday, and our community is focused on growth, discipline, and real results. Catch you in the next one.